walk, but I feel it in my legs. So 400 hurdles is my baby.
With the way Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone wins every 400-meter hurdle race, like it's nothing, is enough proof that the event is indeed her baby. For years now, her competitors have been struggling to at least run alongside her on the field, but she almost always leaves them in her dust. This year, people expect Femke Bol to finally defeat her American rival at one race or another, though many remain doubtful as to whether or not this is actually doable.
Still 3.5 months till Japan, so we have time, and in the end it doesn't really matter the time.
The days of Femke Bol trailing behind Sydney will soon come to an end. At least that's what some people like to believe. At this point in her career, Bol is no longer chasing world-class status in the 400-meter hurdles. She is the standard bearer, although second only to Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in history. Bol's European record of 50.95 seconds makes her one of only 2 women to break 51 seconds, and she's done it with textbook progression. Getting here is one thing. Staying here is another, she said of reaching the highest level of her sport. This year, Bol could have her eyes on the world record of 50.37 set by McLaughlin-Levrone in the Olympic final at Paris 2024. With Sydney recently focusing on the flat 400 meter as well as other new potential sprint distances in the new Grand Slam track league early in the season, Bol may have a clear runway to test the limits of her event. Her training camps have emphasized strength and precision, refining stride patterns and rehearsing those invisible technical gains that shave tenths off records. A peak performance on the Diamond League circuit or the World Championships in September could yield the moment the Dutch runner has been waiting for. Now it's about focusing on the small goals again, improving rather than just chasing medals. I hope I can keep doing it for a long time and keep improving even in small ways, working hard to shave off just a few tenths of a second. I prefer to let my legs do the talking instead of saying too much. You may recall that Bol took a well-deserved break, allowing herself to breathe for a moment, to step outside the bubble and remember that I have a beautiful life beyond sport, too. She said on the Open Cart podcast. After years of near-constant momentum, it was time to pause. She did, however, briefly return to the track for the 2025 European Athletics Indoor Championships, to the delight of the Dutch fans. Running before a roaring home crowd in Apeldoorn, Bol anchored the Netherlands to yet another historic 4x4 100-meter win, both in the inaugural mixed relay and the ever-competitive women's relay. This month, though, she's officially back to regular programming, racing and winning. The Dutch athlete made her first outing of the outdoor season at the Rabat Diamond League a few days ago. Bol, who will strive to defend her women's 400-meter hurdles title at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo in September, will be aiming for a 5th successive Diamond League title in her favorite event. It is vital to know that the Flying Dutchwoman has dominated her discipline in the Diamond League in recent years, picking up an astonishing 25 victories in the series since her breakthrough season in 2020. In Morocco, she had been as dominant as ever. There, the reigning world and European champion Femke Bol clocked her fastest ever season's opener in the 400-meter hurdles in the Rabat Diamond League. In her first race at her specialist event in over 8 months, and sporting a new technique out of the blocks, Bol was in vintage form as she stopped the clock at 52.46 and won by almost 1.5 seconds from Jamaica's Andronette Knight in 53.90. I seem to be better off with my other leg. It was never my strongest point. It feels comfortable to me, but I still have to think a lot about it. It's something that I'm changing now, but I feel good about it. Bol told the Dutch media ahead of the meeting. Mind you, Bol's time was a meeting record and puts her second on the 2025 World all-time list, behind world record holder and 2-time Olympic champion Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, who clocked 52.07 earlier this month in Miami. Still, after falling short of McLaughlin-Levrone's seasonal record, the Dutch hurdler announced her next race for the season. The 25-year-old recently shared the news that she would be participating in the much-talked-about Fanny Blankers Cohen Games in the Netherlands. She also informed her followers on Instagram that only a few tickets for her race are remaining, urging them to hurry up if they wish to see her in action live. Next race at home, and there are a few tickets left, she wrote in an Instagram story. She is also set to return to the Bauhaus Galen meeting, Stockholm Diamond League in mid-June, where she will aim for a 5th career victory at the Swedish stop of the Wanda Diamond League. Bol first won in Stockholm in 2020, marking her debut victory on the Diamond League circuit. Since then, the Dutch athlete has collected 4 consecutive overall Diamond League titles in the 400-meter hurdles and amassed 25 individual wins across the series. She now holds both the meeting and stadium record at Stockholm's Olympic Stadium with a time of 52.27, set in her 2024 victory. Bol's return to Stockholm continues her 2025 outdoor campaign following a successful indoor season, where she broke her own world indoor 400-meter record earlier this year. Her performance in Stockholm will be a key part of her preparation ahead of the summer's major championships. This, however, is no guarantee that she will win once faced against the legendary Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. Sydney versus Bol is not a new rivalry on the track by any means. The clash has been brewing for years now, and Sydney has been dominating it like there is no competition. Every time Femke Bol inches closer, Sydney does something to cement her status. The rumors that the two could have a clash at the LA Grand Slam track sent fans into a frenzy. A fan went as far as posting on X, saying, "Can we get Femke versus Sid at the Los Angeles?" tagging the Grand Slam track's official X account, and its founder, Michael Johnson. Reading this, track and field legend Michael Johnson entered the thread only to write, "If we're honest, we know how that ends, right?" Would love to have Femke though. Femke versus Anna Cockrell and others is more competitive. Sid in short hurdles and long sprints is ideal, unless she's going for another 400 hurdles world record. This is not the first time Michael Johnson has been complimentary of Sydney. When it was announced that she would be competing in the 100-meter hurdles and 100-meter at the Grand Slam track Philadelphia, he was quick to respond. People should know this, Sydney loves a challenge. If she's doing long hurdles, it's because she wants to accomplish a specific time. Short hurdles. She wants to measure herself against the best 100 hurdlers, or test herself over 100-meter flat. Grand Slam track gives her the flexibility and opportunity to be challenged. Fans are the beneficiaries, he wrote in a tweet. So far, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is among the only 3 runners to win their first 4 races through the first 2 Grand Slam track meets. At the Grand Slam track Kingston in early April, McLaughlin-Levrone solidified her status as the favorite in the women's long hurdles classification, after opening the professional athletics series in style with a measured but nonetheless speedy performance. She then completed her second consecutive 400-meter hurdles group sweep in early May, taking the flat 400-meter in 49.69 seconds at Grand Slam track Miami. She proceeded to win the 400-meter hurdles in 52.07, the fastest time ever run before the month of June. Obviously, a lot can happen from now to September's Worlds, but what's certain is that a race between Femke and Sydney is highly anticipated.